Hey folks, Danny here, and seeing as everyone else has already had their go, it's probably my time to chip in with some of my favourite games of 2025. The Seance of Manor is a very special game for two reasons, one of which is universal and one depends on how Irish you are. Universally, I think this is a fantastic puzzle detective game. It's incredibly well written, has dozens of interesting characters, and I found exploring the manor and uncovering its secrets very enjoyable in terms of moment-to-moment gameplay. Or rather, day by day, because this game takes place with you having to solve the grand mystery in just a weekend and change. With each action you take, be it looking at an item, talking to somebody, or spending time with a group at lunch or the bar, eating away at your critical resource, time. And on another level, this is simply the best game about Ireland I've ever played. It dives into so many distinct aspects of Irish culture that create the modern tapestry of history, religion, race, conflict, famine, and generational trauma that Irish people live in today. The Seance of Manor is a very special game, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. My other favourite game of 2026 comes courtesy of the Shill Zone. Yes, my company was hired to produce a 3-part series on Arc Raiders last year, and over 1.5 million people have watched it so far. But even though I was embedded with the team for a chunk of the past 2 years, I was surprised about how much I enjoyed and played Embark's extraction shooter Light. For me, there are 3 reasons. First, the world design. I'm a sucker for a particular brand of European dark sci-fi, and the way Arc Raider looks and sounds is very appealing to me. I simply enjoy being in this world, and when you're talking about online experiences, that sense of comfort can be really powerful. Secondly, the enemy design and shooting is stellar. I love engaging with Arc, as you can never quite tell how battles are going to go. Especially because, thirdly, the emergent gameplay that comes from having untrustworthy players thrown into the mix makes each session unique and tense. I've had matches where I've made best friends with a group of strangers and taken down a huge machine, and others where a fellow raider backstabbed me at the worst possible time. I've played over 150 hours of this game, which is not something I do very often these days. I've almost maxed out my second character already, having launched the game resetting expedition with my first character. I really love Arc Raiders, and I suspect I'll be playing a lot more of it in 2026. I want to give a shout out to Atomfall from famed UK developers Rebellion. For a game with a smaller budget than most first-person RPGs, this game is incredibly well put together. The setup is unique and interesting, the characters you meet have great personality, and I really enjoyed exploring this bizarro version of the British countryside. The game has multiple endings depending on what choices you make, and it just seems like a really smart game in terms of where they decided to put the depth and where they decided to just let the game speak for itself. More people should give Atomfall a go. PIGFACE is another first-person game I enjoyed a lot, though it's still in early access. Another early access gem is Cesto, which was certainly the most interesting looking game I played last year. A super fun puzzle roguelike that looks like it came from another planet. Some other smaller indies I adored, let's start with Carimara, a superb gothic horror murder investigation you can grab for less than £5. Cape Hideous, which did come out in 2024, but I didn't play it until Jeremy recommended it to me this year. It's a remarkable looking short adventure game which does a great job of painting its unique universe with very few colours. Despelote, with a similarly artistically restricted visual palette, communicated the national frenzy around Ecuador's 2002's World Cup bid, something Irish football fans of a certain vintage can certainly understand. And Roger and Without a Dawn tackle heavy emotional material, and I found both to be affecting in very different ways. More evidence of the remarkable power that games can have in communicating the deepest aspects of what it is to be human, if placed in the hands of a talented enough creative. And on the more whimsical side, LEGO Party became a staple of our family's living room late last year. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is so vast in scope that after 30 hours I still feel like I'm scratching the surface. Not nearly as intimidating as I'd first feared, the designers have done a stellar job in onboarding players to what otherwise would have been a disaster of gameplay complexity. The emergent storytelling moments I've had in this game rival just about anything else I've ever played. These are just a handful of the games that kept me up at night, but truth be told, I've had fun with dozens of games this year. I also had great fun with Wheelworld, Demonschool, and the Oblivion remake. There was no point in 2026 where I felt like I didn't have a game I wanted to play, and to me, that's the sign of a healthy creative industry. I think the year ahead poses many challenges for studios, both large and tiny, but for players, I truly believe this is a golden era for gaming experiences. It's just that sometimes you need to forage in unfamiliar lands to find them. And hey, if that sounds like too much work, just listen to our podcast and subscribe to No Clip 2.